That's 24, that's 29, 33, 36, 39, 40. We're at 40 miles an hour, just like that. We're coming up to 42 right now. Let's go! Today, Yasmin and I finally found a weather window where we can bring out our Sea Hunt to do a little 2-year review of our boat, our pros, our cons, what we love, what we don't like, what we would change. So stay tuned. It's going to be an absolutely epic video. For those of you who are looking at the Sea Hunt Ultra, we've had ours for 2 years, so get ready. We're going to tell you everything about it. So right now we're testing the performance on the Sea Hunt Ultra. Today's really like a classic day where it's like the dream weather experience. Black calm in the bay. The winds are supposed to be around 9 knots today, and seas are they're supposed to be about 1 foot. So right now we're cruising at around 5,300 RPMs straight across the bay, and we're doing 40 miles per hour. It seems like 200 horsepower is like that perfect sweet spot for performance, miles per gallon, and efficiency. And of course, one of the biggest things is like ease of maintenance. So right now we're going really smoothly. I got the motor trimmed up just a little bit, and we're keeping an eye on our gauges, and right now we're doing about 15.4 gallons per hour of consumption. One of the things that we really love about the Sea Hunt after a couple of years of ownership is, as you guys just heard, bumping the music when we're crossing the bay before we get to filming where everything's got to be silent. Is just cranking it up. It sounds really awesome, and one of the definite benefits that you get from the factory with the Sea Hunt boat. So we're about to make our way into the Elliott Key Channel through Caesars Creek. Got the island right over here to our east. Got some birds right there near the shoreline. This is what I love about the mornings on the water. It's absolutely majestic. We are almost out of the no wake zone here in Caesars Creek, and I figured right now would be a really good time to point a couple things out while we have the right lighting. So one of the cool things that we equipped our Sea Hunt with is these courtesy lights. We got 4 blue courtesy lights right on top of the T-top. And then if you come to the back side of the T-top, you're gonna notice we have 2 spreader lights, which is actually really good. If you guys like to do some night fishing, there's one here on the port and there's one on the starboard side of the T-top itself. Let me tell you guys that when I'm working on my boat at night and I turn these things on off the T-top, it literally illuminates this thing like daytime. If you're out tying knots, re-rigging tackle while you're out in the ocean, these things are perfect. Now that's one of the definite benefits and pluses that I would say they went with high quality lighting. 2 years, these things turn on like nothing. They're right away, never have any issues. Now one thing I won't be able to show you guys today because it's already a little too bright out, we also have the underwater lights that we can toggle through here on our switch panel. We also have cockpit lights. We actually have the LED blue and the spreader light LED white for the cockpit lights. So at night you can toggle through the 2 colors. So I just wanted to kind of point that out early on. These are things that I really like that I definitely recommend having put on from the factory, because as you could tell, everything is like perfectly designed to work and you don't have to kind of piece it all together. All the wiring is run perfectly through there. So definitely a big up. One of the pros that I would say right off the bat that I would recommend to get on your Sea Hunt if you're going to order one from the manufacturer. This is where the performance definitely dips on the Ultra, is when we get into some choppier wake here out in the ocean. So definitely for you offshore guys, you're gonna have to, play around with your speed. You're not gonna be able to go 40 miles an hour, even on a 1 to 1.5 foot day. As you can tell by that last bump, they're pretty hard, and the boat definitely feels it because you could hear it rattle like the hatches and stuff like that when we hit those larger swells at even at 26 miles per hour. Definitely don't leave home without the sunglasses. I always like to have the VHF on. Channel 16 is one of the open channels. You guys can see up here, I got the Garmin. This comes equipped with the Garmin package. So you're gonna have some sort of 943 XSV or a larger screen in tandem with the JL audio system, because these two interconnect, they interface with each other along with the Garmin VHF unit. This is definitely one of the things that you actually legally need to have or an offshore boat, whether it be a handheld VHF or one that is attached on the boat. So if you get a sea hunt, if you're looking at a sea hunt, you're gonna more than likely have one of these on there. Couple things that the boat comes equipped with from the manufacturer. You're gonna have 2 rod holders between 15 to 30 degree angled out on the port and starboard side of the boat. So you're gonna have 2 rod holders that are kind of like dedicated for fishing on your gunnel walls. You're also gonna have a couple cup holders. That's more for like holding your drinks and whatnot. So if you're gonna do some fishing, you got both of those there. And you got recessed anchor cleats that come up and down. Right now, it's holding onto our chum bag right here on the back of the boat that we're trying to lure in some bait. There's some basic features if you're trying to do some fishing here. And since we're in the back of the boat, we're gonna talk a little bit more about what it has right here on the bench of the Sea Hunt. There is a live well. At the moment, we're not using it, but it is ready. If we catch any bait, we'll turn this bad boy on. And then we also equipped it with this large live well as well. So if you're trying to keep different types of baits, you can have them totally separate. You can have one well for pilchards. You could have another well for pinfish, ballyhoo, you name it, whatever you're gonna be using it for. If you equip it like this, now this is an option right here, the captain's chair, essentially, the helm seat. This isn't standard. A lot of the Sea Hunts come with a rollout cooler. Of course, as an upgrade, we did choose to equip our boat with it, knowing that we were gonna be doing a little bit extra fishing. And I think it's a good standard feature to just have from the manufacturer, because more than likely, if you don't get it, you're gonna want it. So I always say, like, try to like get as much on the boat from the manufacturer as you possibly can to eliminate having to do too many installs in the future and add things outside of the manufacturer, like rigging and wiring and whatnot. It makes it a lot easier. I carry this fish kill bag with us because one thing about the Sea Hunt Ultra in a 229 size, you do have good storage, but you don't have a lot of insulated coolers built into the boat where you can kind of like have a fish box on the floor or a fish box in the transom of the boat towards the back. It's kind of a lot of like how you play with it. So I keep this Buffalo Gear fish bag back here just to keep some extra ice in case we catch fish and we could just kind of bail them in there. We got these rocket launchers right here. You got it right on the helm seat, and then you also have it on the T-top. This is all powder coated white to match all the powder coating on the T-top as well. So you got 4 rocket launchers here, basically holds any kind of rod, reel, tackle you want. 4 here, and you also have 4 on the T-top that basically you can use that to hold bottom fishing rods, spinners, conventionals, you name it, whatever you want. It's got the availability to hold it. And we optioned ours out with 2 kingfish rod holders on the T-top as well. So if you're out here on the reef, whether you're gonna be doing some drifting, you're gonna be fishing anchored up, if you have some live bait and you wanna have a free line, you know, with a ballyhoo or something just hanging on the surface, you can have a rod just stationary up there with the bait in the water, and it's kind of out of the way, so you can still do everything you wanna do without having things just like right in front of you. That's how we kind of set that up. And then since we're here in the back of the boat, the last couple details that I'll point out is, since this one was kind of like equipped with fishing in mind, I'm gonna come down here for a second. We got this little station right here that's attached to the console, to the helm seat. And this allows you to hang jigs and lures and tackle that's already been used out in the saltwater for you to rinse it out later. Or if you just know you're gonna be switching through a lot of tackle and you wanna have it readily available and not in your tackle bag, you have this right here where you can option it out as something you could put on your boat to keep your tackle right closer. And it also has areas for your tools. So we have a de-hooker right here. You could also put a knife in there or a set of pliers. Plenty of room for a set of pliers to fit in there. We got our de-hooker there. And then it also has this little slot right here where you can actually fit a big fillet knife into, which a lot of times we'll do. We'll have like a Rapala or a Dexter knife slotted in there so that if we don't want to have it on the fillet table and it's kind of a little bit safer, you could put it in here and it's nicely tucked away and out of harm's way, essentially. What else do we got over here? On both sides, on the gunnels, you're gonna notice you either have 2 rod holders, if you wanna put 2 additional rods in there. They're not very large, so if you do decide to put rods on here, they are gonna stick out towards the little hallways where you're gonna be walking through, so you'll have to be extra cautious with that. What we use it for, basically I use it to hold our little net for our live bait. I use it to store our deck brush. So if the boat gets dirty while we're out fishing, we have the deck brush readily available. Turn on the raw water or the fresh water, do a quick rinse, quick little scrub and rinse, and you keep the boat a lot easier to run throughout the day. And then right over on this side, it's the same setup. And on this side of the boat, we're just keeping our gaffs. If you guys don't have one of these on your boat, which I'm pretty sure most of you do, got something like it, similar functionality. This is a smaller little bait station, but it's perfect for a 23-foot console, kind of like what we're fishing on here today. These bait stations, they're readily available. You could get them at any of your local bait and tackle shops, but we'll link it down below on our Amazon cart. So if you guys are interested in one of these, if you actually don't have it on your boat, we'll put it there in the Amazon store. You guys can take a look at it. We've had it for 2 years now. We really love using it. So we just got to Pacific Reef Lighthouse. It's actually a really nice spot to snorkel in. If you guys haven't ever tried it, the water is super clear, especially with a nice sunny day like we're having today. And we're kind of just hanging out. We decided to move positions to talk about the center console of the boat right here as we drift around. Speaker system that we kind of mentioned early on when we were running across the bay. It comes with 6 speakers, 2 of them being here on the T-top right here in the helm. And then we also got 2 forward, 2 aft on the boat. Looking here on the center console, we got this really nice black acrylic enclosure where the Garmin is in place. It's got one throttle on it because it is a single outboard engine. It's got the Yamaha controls. It's got Bennett trim tabs on here that you can control manually. It also has the Yamaha tachometer, the Yamaha speed and fuel gauge. These are really cool because between the 2 of them, you'll be able to track your engine hours, your RPM output, the trim on the motor. You'll also be able to take a look at how many miles per hour you're going and how many miles per gallon you're getting. Aside from that, you're gonna see it's got 2 cup holders where you can keep your coffee, keep your water, your sodas, your beers. That's really nice there. It's got 2 steps on the console itself where you can kind of put your feet on, and if you want to, you can lean back. Sometimes when I'm driving the boat, I like to lean in this position right here, feet at the bottom, and it's nice and comfortable. I got access to the throttle, through the steering wheel, and I can really see everything around me from a little bit of an elevated view. I can also put the bolster seat down, take a seat back, and then if I want to, I got this step right here that I can sit at. And it's more of kind of like a cruising type of feel. You can lay back, you can adjust this. And then one thing to definitely notice, these are both adjustable. They got this nice color matched finish that you see on all the bolsters throughout the boat. Nice and smooth. It also has this bar right here. So if you don't want to lean your feet here and you actually want to put your feet down at the bottom, you can adjust that bar right there for that. It's got a little storage right here. Doesn't have a cover to it, but you could put plenty of things in there. We got pliers right now, our sunglass holders, etc. What else do we got here to point out? Obviously, all of our toggle switches right here that control all of the electronics on the boat, from horn to navigation, bilge, live well, freshwater, raw water, misters, etc. So this boat here, we did get it equipped with some misters on it. So since we have the freshwater reservoir on the boat, whenever we want to use the misters on really hot summer days, we can activate those and it'll give us like a nice little cool mist. Steering wheel, stainless steel. We got electronic steering on our Yamaha, so it's very, very smooth. And I love this feature right here. It's adjustable. So if you're sitting down and you're a little bit further back and you need a little control, you can put it here facing you. Or if you're gonna be standing up, you can put it all the way up or more or less up, however you prefer it. You can stand up right here and kind of have full control if you're on the go and you're really trying to get some speed on the boat. A lot of times when you're trying to go fast, you're gonna be standing up to have better control and balance. You have your bars right here that you can hold on to while you ride. So that's a really cool feature here. This is something you're gonna wanna maintain over time. Make sure it's got oil and that everything is nice and smooth on it. Over here on the top, there's an area for storage. Be very careful. This smooth area where there's gel coat, everything rolls off of it. One thing that I would recommend doing is removing this kind of like deck-it material that they put on here with the Sea Hunt logo and doing the whole thing with the deck-it material. That way it's really nice and rough, and you can put all your electronics on here like cell phones or cameras, and you don't gotta worry about everything going flying. It's got the Ritchie compass, works really well. And then over here, up top, we got our storage compartment where we got the Garmin VHF, where we store the covers to all the electronics. We also got safety gear. It's got one of the halfway acrylic glasses right here. That's one thing that, you know, to me, I think if you get a boat over 21 feet, and I think some of you might think it's a little bit of a picky thing, sure. I mean, it'd be nice if it had the option of doing one or the other. Ours came with this halfway acrylic. I would have loved for it to kind of have been built into this entire enclosure from top to bottom and just kind of kept this whole area nice and sealed up from the rain when it rains here, because we do get a lot of rain here in South Florida. So sometimes when you're making your way back from the sandbar from a fishing day, you get caught in some rough weather. It's nice to not have all that rain hitting your sunglasses and sometimes getting in your eyes. So that kind of does it here for the console area. One thing that we did do recently that maybe you guys had seen in a previous video is the installation for the electric reel. We added power right here. So there's going to be an install video of how to do that if you guys are looking to run some electricity to your boat so you can power all your electric reels. We got our Daiwa Tanacom 1000 up there that's ready to go for this season. We're going to do some serious fishing with that thing and really put it to the test. I mentioned it earlier, but since we're right here near the console and near the helm, I did add 2 rod holders. These are 0-degree rod holders that are going to be used for the deep drop rod, because the deep drop rod has a bent butt. So it's perfectly positioned right here. So while I'm fishing and while I'm controlling the boat, trying to set my drift and look at my chart, I have full access to my fishing rod right here. Another thing to mention, being that this was the Sea Hunt Ultra with the fishing package, it does have side compartments. I actually cleared it out. I did have some tackle in here before, but I noticed leaving it on the boat overnight, weeks at a time, things were getting a little bit rusty. So I ended up picking up a nice big tackle bag that I was gifted for Father's Day that I really love that they got me. So I keep most of my tackle there, but I do keep things here that won't rust, such as bobbers and some terminal tackle, such as lead weights, etc. Those kind of things are never going to go bad. So I do keep them in there. And we also have one on this side of the boat that I also have some like miscellaneous things stored in that you'll see right here. Nice, everything is with stainless steel hatch door openers, you know, everything is really nicely done. It's got spots for you to keep additional dehookers, keep your bait knives, and plenty of storage here for anything that you want to keep inside. And these are weather sealed. Both hatches are weather sealed, so that's a nice option. So it should help keep some moisture out of those compartments. But again, I don't recommend that you guys leave hooks and tackle that can rust over time in there, because it does, obviously here in Florida at least, it gets very humid year round. So if you leave those things in there, boats are very humid areas, you're gonna come back and everything's gonna be pretty rusted out. So that's kind of what we got here at the moment. We touched base on all the lights earlier. It's prepared right here for the outriggers. So if you guys ever wanna do outriggers on your boat, it's basically pre-drilled. All you gotta do is buy the Taco Marine outrigger setup, set that up, and you're ready to do some trolling with this boat. You got both sides with that equipped. And then of course, right over here, we got our center console storage area. This is an area that I've talked about in the past. I think Sea Hunt does a pretty good job with the storage area. There's actually quite a bit of room. So they got this little netty, bungee-like area where we keep some wire, we keep some knives, just some miscellaneous stuff. You can hang something here if you need to. And then it's got this curtain right here that covers all of the wiring and all of the electronics. But if you need to get to it, it's really quick to take down. This actually goes, you know, pretty deep down. They do have options where you can add a potty in here. If you want to do like a removable potty, you can put it in there. Let me know what you guys think below. Have you guys been on one of these Sea Hunts? Were you guys at the boat show this year? Did you guys check them out? This is actually America's #1 selling boat, Sea Hunt. So obviously they have a demand for them. People really like them. I gotta say, we've really enjoyed ours so far. It is very versatile. So we'll start right here. Still attached to the console, we have what's kind of used for us as a cooler. As you guys can see, we got some water, some Gatorade, plenty of ice to last us the entire day. That drains out overboard, so you know, you could use that, and at the end of the day, just pull the plug and all of the water from the ice and everything else just drains away freely. Over on the front of the boat, we got 2 consoles. You may have recently seen it. We did a little upgrade to our console storage. We added weather seals that isn't factory on this boat. Definitely something that I'd like to see them do on the Ultra, at least in the lower Ultra models, is to add the weather seal. So right here, as you could tell, we added the weather seal all the way around the hatch, and I'm thinking I'm gonna do weather seal at the base of the hatch to do a really nice clamped like suction cup feeling to this. This right here, we use it for a variety of things. Today, we already moved it over to the fish kill bag, but we did have some ice bags in here earlier with some chum blocks and some bait. And as you can tell, it has a plug at the bottom. So once you're done with it, pull the plug out, and the little bit of water that remains basically just drains out. As you can tell, it's almost completely drained out at that point right there. And plug goes back in, easy as that. It's got nice hydraulic hinges on the hatch, and it does have these plastic locks on it. Sea Hunt does a lot of good work with their stainless steel, so I don't see it being a lot more money if they can just convert that to stainless steel. I think that that would really make this look a lot more uniform and finished and longer lasting. Earlier I mentioned the 2 speakers at the front right here. Surprisingly, I forgot to take this off today because we didn't bring any of the cushions that we normally use for like the sandbar and when we take the family out. But this normally has 2 large cushions that go here, 2 headrests. So if you're at the sandbar, 2 people can lay out here and tan, have a good time. It's got the stainless steel grab railing right here that goes all the way along the gunnel, and that's on both sides. It is kind of recessed in a sense. So if you're walking over here on the gunnel, it's kind of level with that right there. So it's not too bad. You can kind of walk around here and not get stuck on it. One thing that I would have liked to have seen, being picky here, this is great. There's nothing wrong with it, but I would have loved for them to have done the powder coat package on this as well, because it's kind of like, why is everything else white powder coated and not this little piece right here? That probably could have all been done at the same time. So again, being picky, nothing to not buy the boat about, but little things that I would say that, you know, looking at it now after a couple of years, it's like, why didn't they do that? But this is really good. If you got passengers up here and you're moving across the bay on a flat day, you could hold on to that. And then we also have this other storage right here. This is the smaller of the 2 storages. Again, we added the weather seal. We're gonna probably do the inside as well. Plenty of storage in the front for you to keep things nice and dry. And it really does do a good job at keeping things nice and dry. We've been out here on days where it's sprinkled a little bit, or we've been in the sandbar. Water doesn't really get in there unless you open the lid and you intentionally let the water in there. Cool thing is, this boat did come with the cushion bolsters that basically goes all the way around the boat. In a lot of boats, that is an upgrade and something you got to add on. This one was equipped with it from the factory. It's got cup holders behind both headrests, and it's got cup holders up here on the upper gunnels. One of the things Yasmin and I was talking earlier in the video, if you guys heard, was not a lot of rod holders. One of the things that I would love to see is some additional rod holders from center helm over to the bow of the boat. You could easily fit at least 3 more here, not including the 2 that we've already added on the sides. So that's one of the things that I would definitely say, if you're gonna get this boat, you may wanna consider adding it if you're gonna be doing some fishing on it. Over to the front of the boat, we got your navigation lights. Those are really nice. They're nice and close to the boat. They stay out of the way. Everything's working great on it so far. We really haven't had any issues to complain about. I really love the pop-up cleats. I think that really gives it a nice, smooth finish on the boat. And then we got this hatch right here. And this hatch right here is where the anchor locker essentially is. We have a pretty large anchor in the boat. We actually ended up getting this one secondhand from a thrift store. You guys can get these online. This was a really cool pickup. We did a little modification to it, and the reason why we went that way is because we did initially buy one. Or actually, no, Sea Hunt sent us one with the boat. But every time we would go to the sandbar, the anchor just wouldn't lock up to the sand. It was too light, the chain was too light, and we would be always drifting off spot, and we'd have to be like moving the boat around. So I picked up a lot more chain, a much larger anchor, and now the boat sits nice and tight in place. One thing that I would say, this anchor storage is a little tight. I've seen it in a lot of boats, and just judging by the front, the bow of the boat, there's plenty of room for this hatch to be made larger. And I've seen it with a lot of their other boats where they have the kind of like the built-in anchoring system where you can do a windlass. This boat seems to have enough room for a small windlass system. I'd like to see some of that installed just to make anchoring that much easier on this boat, being that it is 23 feet. I think it would be like a nice premium upgrade. And then you wouldn't have to be lifting all that anchor and chain over the bow and tossing it over and potentially scratching up the gel coat on the boat. So a couple of things that I definitely would say for me, for Yasmin, I think we've both kind of mentioned it throughout the boat show, that we don't really like about the boat is the forward seating in the bow area. There's a lot of things that we would probably change about the bow area now 2 years into owning it. The forward seating, it's great, you could tan on it, but other than sitting and tanning on it, it really doesn't serve a purpose. If you're running across a choppy bay, this is the last place anybody wants to sit. It's really not a comfortable chair, right? Wouldn't you say? No, Yasmin's shaking her head no over there. You may be able to sit on the cooler, but that's about it. I would like to see an option maybe where you could choose to have forward seating if you want, but I think a lot of people like 23-foot boats for saltwater fishing and to go offshore in. And I personally think that this boat has a great size and an overall great layout, and it's very comfortable for 2 to 3 people to fish it. If they had an option where you didn't have to get the forward seating and it was a straight open area, contender style, or even like Reef Runner like we saw at the boat show. That was our favorite boat at the boat show, was the Reef Runner and the Dusky. I would love to see this open space here. Just keep this little seat right there. And I think you got the perfect fishing boat with a couple little tweaks from the manufacturer, or the option of just not including this here. I think that would turn this boat from the level that it is to probably 125% on the scale. So that's kind of a lot of the little features here of the bow. So we're making our way now back inshore. We did a quick little donut right here in front of Elliott Key. It's got it nice and swirled up right here. So if you're doing some tubing, this boat actually has an option for people who like to pull tubes, where they have like this large riser that comes over here above the aft of the boat, right over the engine, and you could tie your long rope to it and pull some tubes on it. We didn't get our boat with that. But since we're back here, we're gonna talk a little bit. We spoke earlier about the live wells. Aside from the live wells, you have another storage hatch right here, whereas all your wiring, your bilge access, all of that, you got your 2 batteries, you got your battery switches and your switches, they're all in there along with breakers. On this side here, there's another storage hatch, and there's room for a 5-gallon bucket. We usually use it to keep our ropes, keep some sandals. You can do whatever you want. There's actually a cast net in there as well. And then if you lift this up, there's access to different types of pumps. You got your freshwater pumps, your freshwater hose, again, access to your bilge. So that's kind of what you would get back here on the rear bench of the Sea Hunt. Normally, if we come out with a family, we'll put the cushions on top that come standard with the boat. Most people like to sit back here. This is the most comfortable seat in the house, from what I'm told. Nobody likes to sit in the front. They like to kind of hang out back here. It's where they feel most comfortable and most secure. We have this little rear aft door that pops over. This is great if you're visiting the sandbar like this is right now. You want to jump into the water, you're going to do some snorkeling, whatever you're doing, right? You got this little door right here that you can kind of pop in over, walk to the back side, walk to the transom of the boat. If you guys can see right there, we got this nice ladder which has the bungee on it, but you open up your ladder, you could toss it in. I'm not going in the water right now, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put that bungee back over it. That sits nicely. They kind of molded it so that it fits flush onto the deck, so you don't really lose a lot of space and you're kind of not bumping into it. All the engine wiring here, fuel wiring, fuel hoses, electronics hoses, they're all run right here nice and clean. There's an additional hatch right here to the bilge. So if you need access to your bilge pump or anything like that, you got that right there. We got our Yami right here. Before we get to that, we got, what I kind of look at this is like an additional storage. It is a little small, it is a little lighter. We do have it as a backup because maybe if we ever want to do 2 anchors at the sandbar so that the boat doesn't rotate very much, we have one for the bow and one for the aft. This is the bad boy of the show right here. This is a Yamaha 200 horsepower outboard engine. This is a 4-cylinder, super economical, runs really nicely, as you guys saw early in the morning and just now. Yeah, you push it down and you trim it just right, and this baby's gonna go. Easily gets you between 40 to 47 miles per hour, depending on how much cargo you have on board. But this guy is really awesome. We've done 1 service to it so far. So we're at about 52 hours in the 2 years of ownership that we've had. We've done countless things. I really don't have the list, but oil change, oil filter, lower unit oil filter, your lower unit oil. We have done the fuel water separator and a couple other random miscellaneous things just to keep it nicely and keep it nice and optimal to its performance standards. And one of the biggest things that I do for this engine is run pure 100% Rec 90 fuel. So that's kind of the rear walkthrough of the Sea Hunt. All right, so we're gonna do a quick whole shot experiment here for you guys just so you can see how it looks. I'm gonna go ahead and turn us east, slow us down, and then we're gonna launch the boat from 0 so you can see how quickly we get up on plane. So right there's neutral. I'm gonna put it into gear. Hold on, Yasmin. Ready? 3, 2, 1. This boat gives it to you quickly. If you push it and you trim it up right, it's gonna get up on plane really quickly and automatically, you know, engage with the water and start to fly right here on the surface. Super smooth ride. This is the perfect day to really kind of give you guys the look. I can still kind of control the boat with one hand, keep my hand off the throttle. I don't have to do a lot of messing around with the trim tabs because the weather's perfect. Even with Yasmin's balance, and we're kind of like off balancing the boat, we're running nice and center. Nice. Performance on the boat, like I said, really good. As you guys can see right now, hands-free, driving like a Tesla. It's a smooth ride when you're in the bay and you got a light chop. You can really sit back and kind of just observe everything around you and just be at one with nature, because we really don't get that many days where we get to come out here and just kind of separate from reality, and this boat allows us to do that. And today's the beautiful example of how nice it is to be a boat owner, and you get days like these, come out with your wife, with your family, with your friends, and just enjoy it. Do what you love, whether it's hanging out at the sandbar, fishing, cruising. We got downtown over there towards our north, and there's just so much you could do here in Miami. If you're in Miami without a boat, you're missing out. All right, guys, that is gonna conclude our full 2-year walkthrough, our pros, our cons, what we love about the Sea Hunt Ultra, what we don't like, or what we would like to see them do differently. Tell us what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you own a Sea Hunt Ultra? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you thinking about getting one? Definitely drop a comment, tell us what you think. We really love it. We've had it for 2 years now. There's really no other boat in the price point that's as comparable where I would say it's worth trading this in and getting the next one, because when you leave this boat and you go to the next boat that we would like, you're probably talking about double your payment. So right now we're super happy with this one. It gets us out on the water, doesn't break the bank, and it allows us to do everything we love, which is to go out on the water, have days with the family at the sandbar, cook out on the boat, and then go offshore, and you can do some serious fishing on a good day. So I hope you guys enjoyed those topics. Tell us what you guys would like to see us film next. If there's anything you guys want me to talk about on the Sea Hunt, if you all got questions about certain things that maybe I brushed over, went over too quickly, definitely comment below. I could try to comment up or do a follow-up video on that as well. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're gonna wrap it up here and head home. I'll catch you guys in the next video.